Hey everyone, today we're diving into a piece of tech that might just solve one of the biggest headaches in fiber networking, the crazy cost and complexity of the central hub. Let's see how it all works. So let's get right to it. Here's the situation for so many of us in the networking world. You want that incredible speed, that power of a passive optical network. But the thought of shelling out for a giant, expensive, and totally inflexible optical line terminal, an OLT, is just a complete non-starter. So what do? Well, believe it or not, the answer might just be this. This is the Airlive GM01 kit. Yeah, it looks like a tiny module and a little media converter, but together, these two things pack the punch of a full-scale fiber network hub. Now, to really get why this is such a game changer, we kind of have to rewind a bit and look at the huge challenge network admins have been banging their heads against for years when trying to go all optical. This is the old way of doing things. A traditional OLT is basically a big server chassis. It eats up precious rack space, costs a fortune up front, and it pretty much locks you into one specific hardware brand. For smaller projects or quick upgrades, this has always been a massive barrier. But what if you could just bypass all of that? What if you could take the network switch you already have and turn it into the command center for a brand new fiber network? That's the huge shift in thinking we're talking about here. And this little guy is how it happens. A GPON OLT stick is just an incredible feat of miniaturization. It's a plug-and-play module. Seriously, it's about the size of a pack of gum, and you just slide it into an SFP port on your existing switch. The second you do that, that port becomes the brain of your entire fiber network. And the Airlive GM01 kit gives you the whole package to get going. You get the OLT stick itself. That's the heart of the operation. And you get the AM211 media converter, which is the perfect little house for it, giving it power and connectivity. It's a complete solution right out of the box. Okay, so it's small, it's convenient, but can it actually perform? Let's get into the numbers, because this is where things get really, really impressive. 32, that's how many ONU terminals, or, end user connections, a single one of these little sticks can handle. That makes it absolutely perfect for small to medium-sized places. Think an office building, a hotel, or maybe a school campus. And the speed those 32 users get? A crazy 2.488 gigabits per second of downstream bandwidth. I mean, that is some serious high-performance speed, more than enough for even the most demanding applications. And the performance is really well-rounded. You're getting over 1.2 gigs of upstream speed, and you can send that signal up to 8 kilometers away. Because it's a standard hot-swappable SFP Plus module, it's going to work with the switches you probably already have. But my favorite part? It's ridiculously efficient, using less than 2.5 watts of power. That's just wild. So the hardware is a beast, we've established that. But you might be thinking, this has got to be a nightmare to set up, right? Nope, not at all. Let's just quickly walk through how you get this thing up and running. It honestly just boils down to 3 super simple steps. You connect the hardware, you install the software on your computer, and then you use that tool to find and manage the OLT stick. And this diagram shows it perfectly. You literally just plug the OLT stick into an empty SFP port on your switch. Then you plug your management PC into another port on that same switch. That's it. The physical part is done. Seriously. Okay, next, you hop onto your PC. You install a little thing called WinPCAP. It's just a standard driver that lets the software listen to the network. Then you launch the OLT Manager tool. From there, you just pick your computer's network card, click Running, and boom, the software automatically finds the stick for you. This dashboard right here becomes your new mission control. All right, you're connected. Now let's see what it's like to actually use this thing day to day. You're going to find that managing your whole fiber network from here is just incredibly easy. So this dashboard gives you the full picture. Each one of those squares is a potential user. If you need to take one offline for some reason, you just right-click and deactivate it. Done. And if you need to troubleshoot a bad connection, you can switch views and see super detailed stats, like the exact optical signal strength coming in and going out. And check this out. This is a small feature that makes a huge difference in the real world. Instead of trying to memorize which device has which long address, you can just give them simple names like Office 101 or Front Desk. It makes managing everything so much simpler. The tool also gives you some really powerful network-wide controls. With just a click, you can decide if devices on the fiber network can talk to each other. You can force a specific data rate if a device isn't connecting right. And you can decide if a new device should be allowed to take the slot of an old one that's offline. And finally, keeping the system updated is a total breeze. You just open the Upgrade tab, pick the firmware file, and you can upgrade one module or even a whole batch of them on your network at the same time. The interface shows you the progress and tells you exactly when it's finished. So when you put all of this together, the simplicity, the power, the low cost, it really points to a bigger trend in how networks are being built these days. This is really the bottom line. You get to deploy a fiber network for a tiny fraction of the traditional cost. You can do it anywhere. You've got a switch with a spare SFP port. You get to use the expensive gear you already own, and you manage the whole thing from a clean, simple interface. It's the smoothest on-ramp to an all-optical network you could possibly imagine. And all this leaves us with one final big question. In a world that demands more speed and flexibility every single day, does it still make sense to invest in those huge, expensive, single-purpose boxes? Or is the future of networking found in these little, smart, modular components that just make the stuff we already have way, way better?